In this unfolding political drama, Ted Lieu just dropped the heaviest accusation yet. According to his account, Pete Hegseth didn't just mislead the public about the strike, he might have greenlit an unlawful order against shipwreck survivors and is now scrambling to pin the blame on someone else. Claims like that don't just spark headlines, they can end entire careers.
I also want to add my sincere condolences to the family of Sarah Beckstrom, the National Guard soldier senselessly killed last week. And I also pray that Andrew Wolf, the other National Guard soldier fighting for his life, pulls through. As Chairman Aguilar has said, we have an affordability crisis. That's one reason Donald Trump is polling at the lowest level ever for a modern-day president at this point in a term. Only 36% approval, over 60% disapproval. And for folks who shopped on Black Friday, last Friday, according to Salesforce, average prices across all products increased 7%. And then specifically for household goods, prices increased 24%. Things like furniture, appliances, dining, and decor all skyrocketed. And what is Donald Trump doing? He wants to make sure his Great Gatsby ballroom is as big as it can be. Trump and his rubber stamp Republicans are not focusing on the affordability crisis. And now we have healthcare costs skyrocketing. And if we don't extend the ACA tax credits, it's going to mean that millions of Americans are either going to lose health insurance or pay a lot more for the healthcare premiums. Now I'd like to talk about war crimes. Last week, Secretary Hegseth lied and denied media reports that the U.S. military ordered a second strike on defenseless shipwrecked survivors. Then yesterday, both the White House and Hegseth said actually it was Admiral Bradley who ordered the second strike. I served on active duty as a JAG for 4 years and then an additional 21 years in the reserves. And let me be very clear, killing shipwreck survivors is a war crime. The Pentagon's own Department of Defense law manual on the law of war literally says that, quote, orders to fire upon the shipwrecked would be clearly illegal. The Department of Justice must conduct an investigation into the war crime and hold all those accountable, including Secretary Hegseth. He allegedly said, quote, kill them all. If the Trump administration does not hold the people accountable, I guarantee you a future administration will do so because there is no statute of limitations for war crimes. And now I have a message for the members of the United States military. Thank you for your service to our great nation. And for those of us who served, we know that we all followed a code of conduct. And part of that code of conduct is to not lie and to accept responsibility. Unfortunately, the head of the Department of Defense, Secretary Hegseth, engaged in dishonorable conduct. He stated on national TV, quote, I watched it live. We knew exactly who was in that boat. And instead of accepting responsibility for what happened, Hegseth chose to throw Admiral Bradley under the bus. Shame on Pete Hegseth. He is a coward. He must resign. You deserve better. I find it really funny Republicans are making that argument about Black Friday setting records. The reason it set records is because prices increased. That's why, because people are paying more and getting less. And that's why you see consumer sentiment surveys that shows that consumer sentiment has been rapidly dropping. Polls after polls show that American people know that affordability is a crisis and they want Trump and Republicans to do something about it instead of focus on stupid things.
Ted Lieu just made the most serious accusation of this entire controversy. Pete Hegseth didn't just lie about a military strike, he may have authorized an illegal order to kill shipwreck survivors, and is now blaming someone else. That's the kind of allegation that ends careers. Lieu starts by grounding everything in real human loss. He offers condolences for National Guard soldier Sarah Beckham, killed last week, and prayers for Andrew Wolf, who's still fighting for his life. Meanwhile, he points out, the administration is distracted by things like expanding a ballroom. It's a stark reminder. Leadership is about priorities, and right now they're out of touch with the crises Americans are facing. He highlights the affordability crisis, prices rising, families struggling while the administration looks the other way. And then he shifts to the heart of the scandal. As a former JAG, Lieu states plainly that killing shipwreck survivors is a war crime, according to the Pentagon's own manual. First, the Pentagon denied the second strike, then tried to pin it on Admiral Bradley. Lieu says that's not just wrong, it demands a Justice Department investigation because war crimes have no statute of limitations. Finally, he speaks directly to service members about the code they all follow: truth and responsibility. He accuses Hegseth of violating that code by lying publicly and throwing a subordinate under the bus. And that's his bottom line. Hegseth must resign because accountability isn't optional. It's the backbone of democracy.